In today's brief video, I'm going to discuss 5 different types of people who quit smoking weed and the mindset associated with each of those persons. Now, as a disclaimer, much of the content in today's video is taken from one of my online business mentors, Alex Hermosi, and I linked his original video in the links in the video description to today's video. I simply took his content and related it to what I see in the space of addiction recovery. So let's jump right into it. First and foremost, we have the positive, active people. And this is really where you want to be, but this is not where I was when I started to stop smoking weed or made that decision to quit smoking weed. These are the individuals that, as long as the laws of physics don't stop them from doing the thing, they're going to accomplish that thing no matter what. If achieving it is physically possible, if it's even somewhat within the realm of possibility, they are going to do that thing and they are going to succeed. They do not base their success on outside circumstances. They base their success on their own efforts. And only that. Yes, they might seek guidance. Yes, they might get support, but their success is not dependent upon the program or the guidance that they're getting or the support that they're getting or the supplement that they're taking. If it is physically able to be done, they are going to do it. And this certainly applies to addiction, and there's no reason that anyone quitting a substance couldn't have this mindset. There are millions of people every year who overcome addiction, whether it's to weed, alcohol, nicotine, adult media content, stimulants. Quitting a drug is well within the laws of physics. It is something that a majority of people are physically capable of doing. And you're going to have positive, active people who recognize this, and they are immediately going to start taking clear and concise actions to achieve the thing, i.e., in this case, stopping smoking weed. And these individuals, they tend not to use the word try. They're not going to be like, oh, I'm going to try to quit smoking weed. I'm going to see if this thing works or if this program works. They come and they say, I'm going to stop smoking weed. Hell or high water, I am going to succeed. I was not that person when I set out on my journey to quit smoking weed. Then you have positive, passive individuals. These are people who look and they say, other people did it. Other people quit smoking. Other people went to AA. Other people did this program that Dr. Frank has, and therefore I'm capable of achieving it as well. So they're looking at the success of others and they're saying, if you did it, then I can do it too. This is a positive, passive individual. There's someone who is also saying, I'm going to obtain success, but I believe I'm capable of obtaining success because other people have done it before me. So I'm going to see what they did to achieve success. I'm going to copy what they did, and then I'm going to have the expected outcome of success as well. These are where, and you can still have people who have crazy amounts of success by going off of this model in the addiction recovery space, quitting weed, quitting alcohol, quitting smoking, whatever it may be. This is the type of person that I was. And this is the one benefit that I think you can get from group setting and group coaching programs and things like that, which we have a program if you need help. There's a free 7-day trial with the link in the pinned comment. But this is where I think group programs can be really positive. You can get around other people who have succeeded. You can see their success. You can see what they did, and then you can replicate it. But through stopping, I eventually became this person. This is now much more the mindset that I have, but I developed this mindset through the process of successfully quitting substances. So the third person is the neutral passive individual. This is the person that's going to say, let's see if it works for me. And I want to emphasize the word, if it works for me. This is the person that, maybe buys one of our supplements and says, well, okay, my quitting is dependent upon this supplement Dr. Frank recommended, or my quitting is dependent upon the group program or the one-on-one coaching. My quitting or my change in lifestyle is dependent on the new diet if you're trying to lose weight. And I'm going to see if it works for me. These individuals are probably where a majority of people are at, and I was certainly here at one point in my life. These individuals overall lack control of outcomes. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. They're kind of wishy-washy on things, and they put full faith in it, in the magic pill, in the magic thing. They kind of wave their own control of the situation and their own accountability and own responsibility for success. I don't encourage this type of mindset because ultimately what you're doing is you're giving up control to something else. And in the case of substance use and addiction, that's what we've been doing. We've been handing control of our finances, of our decision making, of our relationships, of our physical health, of our mental health to a substance. We haven't retained control of our actions and what we're doing. So we don't want to be here. But the reality is most people are probably coming from this position, from this place. I'm going to see if it works for me. This is where addiction and even addiction recovery created a subconscious rot for me. And I think it does for a lot of people. You're going to start to find, if you're of this mindset, this type of person, that you're putting your faith in other things outside of yourself, in your own free will, in your own capabilities. And what happened to me was, it's like, oh, I didn't get sober. That medication didn't work. That supplement didn't work. That program I did didn't work. It didn't work. And then this mentality for me slowly started to spill over into my relationships. Oh, that relationship didn't work. It wasn't me. It was it. It was the relationship. Oh, that fitness program didn't work. I didn't build muscle. It wasn't me. It was it. It was the program. It's in the control of something else, and we don't want to be here because honestly, this just mimics addiction. And this is one of the areas where I'm not too keen on 12-step programs and other groups like that, because I think to an extent, they tell you it's on you, right? If you don't work it, it won't work for you. That's a common theme in 12-step programs, and it's really actually a horrible saying, and I'll explain why in a minute now that I'm on this rant. The person winds up going into the thing, putting all of their faith into the thing, and not having any faith in their own free will, their own willpower, and their own ability to control their own outcomes and their own destinies. And then if the group falls apart, if the program falls apart, if the thing falls apart, the person is like, oh, it didn't work. It's not my fault. I'm going back to substance use. Now, my other problem with that saying from 12-step programs, it only works if you work it. Well, first of all, their programs are inherently flawed. But second of all, you have a program where they're telling you it only works if you work it. But then you have to start off by saying, I'm an alcoholic, I'm a weed addict, I'm a sex addict, whatever it is. You're making me identify as a damaged, forever broken individual, and then telling me that it's not working because I'm not working it. But then on another sentence, you're going to tell me I'm an alcoholic for the rest of my life or a marijuana addict for the rest of my life, despite not smoking weed or not drinking for the last 10 years. It's absurd, and it's an odd way, in my opinion, of gaslighting individuals. Now, you have negative passive individuals. So these are people who also don't have control. They're saying it worked for them, but it's not going to work for me. And this is often rooted in misguided efforts and misguided judgments. So this is the person will say, look, you're going to do X, Y, and Z things, and this is going to help you stop smoking weed. Here's some very clear steps that you can take. And the person is going to take half of those steps, or they're going to put their own modifications into those things. And then they're going to go, well, it didn't work out. I get that it works for them, but it's not working for me. And then we go back to the person and we're like, hey, by the way, you didn't really follow the routine. You didn't really follow the recommendations. You didn't actually listen and apply what our program, what our thing was saying, and now it's failed you. Well, that's not its fault. It's usually rooted in misguided efforts. And this is the negative passive individual. If you're reading YouTube comments of other people who are quitting and you're saying, yeah, I understand it worked for them, but it's probably not going to work for me. This is where you're at. Now, another way to identify this mindset is you go into this saying like, yeah, I understand that so-and-so was able to quit weed, but I have this business stress, or I have this, anxiety, or this depression, or this thing. Everyone has excuses. Everyone has something that makes stopping the use of a substance challenging for them. If that wasn't the case, no one would be watching my videos online on how to quit weed. No one would be seeking help to do anything if people didn't have some roadblocks or barriers. This is a complete lack of accountability, responsibility, and a complete lack of realization that you are actually in control of the outcomes that you're looking to achieve, not it, not someone else, not something else. Lastly, we have negative active individuals. These are people who are actually going to put effort into proving that whatever the thing is, getting sober, whatever it is not going to work for them. These are the people that are going to go out of their way, applying negative efforts to work counterproductive, work against themselves, just so they can say, see, I told you so, it didn't work, I proved myself right. Now, Alex Hormozi said in his video, which I think is great, would you rather be right or would you rather be sober? He used the example, would you rather lose weight or would you rather stay overweight? Would you rather be fat? That was his example that he used in his video. And this is true. Some people will be so steadfast in their convictions, in their own belief systems, and they won't even question the things that they believe, that they will be willing to die in some cases on that stand, especially in the space of addiction. You don't get it. You don't understand. I'm special. In no circumstances is anything going to work for me. And I'm going to go out of my way to do your program to prove to you that it doesn't work, to prove to you that it's impossible because I'm so different. Now, these are individuals, though, who do have a ton of potential because they're actually applying an active level of effort into self-destruction. If we can just flip that and get them to person 1 or person 2, they're going to be some of your best success cases and some of the most successful stories when it comes to addiction, recovery, and quitting substances. This mindset is also flawed because it's all about the person. All they're focused on is why I can't, why I'm not capable of. Here's all the circumstances in my life, and here's why I'm the world's most unlucky person. They're focused on all these reasons why they can't, why it's impossible. And you know what I'll say? One of my favorite quotes. If you think you can or you think you can't, you're probably right. Irrelevant of what I tell you, irrelevant of what we achieve in my program, my workbook, my things. If you don't think you can get sober, you're not going to. If you don't come at this with some positive outlook, you're not going to succeed. And this applies to everything. This applies to relationships. This applies to hardships. This applies to growing a business. This individual, in many cases, the world stops and it starts revolving solely around them. I'm broken. It's beyond repair. And that's it. It's incapable of being fixed. You don't want to be in that spot. Where we want to get people to is to that number 1 place, positive, active people. And I'm going to have some people say, well, Dr. Frank, some people quit alcohol and they got these really bad withdrawals. It can still be done. You can go to a hospital, you can get a medical detox, and you can still stop using the substance. You just might need another step or 2 in there to do it safely, but it can still be done. The laws of physics are not prohibiting you from not going to the vape shop, not going to the smoke shop, not going into that new dispensary. The laws of physics aren't forcing you to pick up the joint, light your lighter, and then inhale. The laws of physics are not driving that. It's a mindset, and in many cases, it's a broken mindset above all else when it comes to quitting substances. So if this is a conversation that you enjoyed, we have a free workbook on overcoming substance use, link in the pinned comment. We have our group coaching and one-on-one coaching programs, and then we have supplements designed to help ease stress and reduce cravings when it comes to quitting. So you can check out that product. It's Kick It Crave Less Chewing Gum. You can find it right below on YouTube Shopping or the links in the pinned comment. Which mindset are you? Comment below. Let me know where you're at, and let me know if you're in one of those bottom mindsets. How are you going to get to mindset number 1 or number 2? How are you going to change that up? Until next time.